Yo, what is going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video, and as you can see on screen, we are in the Formula V at Oulton Park for today's Grand Prix. I really actually enjoyed this week of racing. It's a great track in the V. It's quite challenging, long straights, a lot of slipstream action, but a lot of braking zones and the chicanes will always get you in trouble. As you can see, there is the starting grid, and we are down all the way in P8 near the back of the grid, so not the best qualifying showing from us at all. We have Christopher Flamion to our left and Richie Chauhan, who is a very skilled driver, up ahead of us. And as we're waiting for the 5 red lights to appear on screen, there they are, ready for some Formula V action around Oulton Park. Here we go, and there we go, we get the green lights and we get a pretty sluggish start off the line. Christopher Flamion with a much better getaway than us, and look at the inside, that's Camillo looking for a move into the first corner. Oh my goodness, he pulls away at the last minute, thinking better of it on the cold tyres, and now we have Brian Guttermiller and Flamion going too wide into Cascades. That is a recipe for disaster on the opening lap. Let's see if one of them yields to the other. Let's see what happens. There's normally a crash or a collision here on the opening lap, and as we predicted, there we go, that is Sylvia getting it all wrong into the Cascades corner, taking it way too hot there on the opening lap on those cold Formula V tyres. But now, as we head into Island Bend and then Shell's Oil Corner, we're looking to defend from Joshua Miller, who's looking rather dangerous and a lot quicker than us with the slipstream. So heading into Shell's Oil, let's see what happens. And look at that, Miller is going down the inside, he shoots his car there, and we almost get overtaken by 2 cars. That's Camillo trying to follow suit and do what Miller just did to us, but that's a great move from Joshua Miller. So he's up into P7 and we lose a position heading into the very fast right-left chicane, and we actually make contact with Miller. A car goes off, we don't slow the car down, and a lot of cars get caught up and tangled in that hairy situation. That is very unfortunate. We're going to have to take a replay action on that and see just what happened. But look at this. This is Miller's dart down the inside into Shell's Oil. This is a very solid and brave move out of him on lap 1, and we get caught napping there. But this is the incident that causes the pile-up into the fast chicane. Let's see what happens. He loses the car over the curbing, and that causes all the cars behind him to slow down. This is our gyro cam, and we just cannot get the car slowed down. We probably have damage there from hitting Miller in the rear of his gearbox, and we get hit from behind, as you will see in this replay. Cars just not being able to slow down, all the cars just ram into each other, and that is potentially a very bad start to this race for us. We don't know if we have any front end or rear end damage from all those collisions, so we're just trying to do some damage limitation as we head into Heathslops, another chicane which is a little bit faster than Britain's that we just went through, and you're just trying to glide the car through, not full throttle at all, and you're trying to go flat out into Knickerbrook and then hit the corner curbing as you go uphill into Clay Hill. But it looks like we have developed a little bit of a gap to Camillo behind us. 5/10 now is the gap as we head into Druids, which is a very challenging corner, quite technical. You have to lift off slightly, but then get early on the power as you're going down this straight into Lodge Corner, which is the final turn around a single lap here at Oulton Park. And as you can see in our rearview mirrors, there seems to be a little bit of a battle going on between Joshua Miller and Nicholas Camillo. So they're going to be battling away, and maybe that's going to pay dividends to us and slow those 2 cars down as we try and catch up with Flamion. The gap is now only 2 seconds, so we are gaining slightly, so we need a really good run here through the first turn. And we clip the apex rather nicely as we just avoid track limits there on turn 1, which is a very easy place to pick up those incidence points. So we are looking good down here into Cascades to get a run onto Flamion, and we just need to ease our way around the corner and then hit the outside curb, which is pretty much what we've done there. That is a perfect set of opening corners of this lap, and as you can see, the gap is now 1.7, so we've gained 0.3 in the first 2 corners of this lap. So we're looking good to track down and hunt down Camillo. But look at our rearview mirror, the slipstream between Miller and Camillo. They've allowed it to catch up to us, and again Miller tries the same move he did on the opening lap, and this guy has no fear whatsoever, sticking his nose down the inside and holding that move. So very good driving there from Joshua Miller. I have to applaud his bravery as we head into the fast right left chicane, and it looks like we're going to be unscathed this time around. No incidents to be heard of there, and Miller is pulling away from us. So let's take a quick replay on to see how Miller just caught up to us, and look at the power of the slipstream. This guy has got a jet booster on the back of his V, and look at this, he goes shades to the inside, and that is pretty much a perfect move. We do get a bit defensive, but he's able to make it stick. And again, I just have to applaud his bravery and racecraft there as we go 3 wide into the chicane, and that is Camillo behind us and Miller ahead, obviously, and there we go, unscathed through that tight chicane, and we are going to have to lose a place there and settle for P7, unfortunately. So now instead of hunting down Flamion, we have to re-overtake Joshua Miller. So that has put a little bit of a hindrance on our race plan there, and we take that chicane a bit too quickly, and that is going to definitely lose us some time heading up the hill into Clay Hill. And now all that we have to focus on is not letting Miller get away, because the gap is already 6/10. So if we let him get out of our slipstream, this is pretty much our race over. But we need a really, really good Druids here. And as you can see, as we approach the corner, we're taking a bit off. We missed the apex completely, and that is going to force us wide onto the grass, and we pick up another off track. So that is not the way we want to be racing if we want to catch up to Joshua Miller here. So heading into the final turn, we need a really good exit from this corner onto the home straight, and it looks like that is pretty much a neutral corner as the gap stays at 5/10, half a second here. So as we start lap 3, we find ourselves in P7 of this Grand Prix, which is not where we want to be, as we take another off track, and there we go. I don't know how that's not 2 off tracks there in the same corner, but iRacing has been very lenient to us. I feel that we should have gained 2 off tracks there, but hey ho, that's just how it goes, and there's 2 cars off. Who is that? That is going to be Cordero. What has happened to him? He was in the top 3 of this Grand Prix, and now he finds himself all the way down in P9, a catastrophic event for Cordero there. Let's see what happens heading into the fast left-hander. It looks like he's just overcooked his tires and lost the car completely. So that's a very unfortunate incident for Cordero there, as he finds himself near the back of the grid now as we're trying to make a move onto Joshua Miller. The gap is 2/10 now. We haven't been this close in a while. We're going into the chicane, moving right, left. Let's see if we're going to stick it through the chicane, but we think better of it, and we follow in quite nicely behind Miller. We didn't want to risk race-ending incident there just to try and make the move work. So we now find ourselves back to the half a second gap, unfortunately, because we had to scrub a lot of speed into the chicane. But now heading into Knickerbrook, let's see what happens here, as Miller gets a pretty slow exit out of the chicane, so we should be able to catch up to him, but we are forced to lift off due to how slow Miller is. But we should be able to get a nice slipstream run up the hill into Druids. I think this has to be the time we make the move stick. Let's see what happens where we shade to the outside, which will become the inside of Druids. Let's see what happens. Big balls move right now. Both drivers on the limit, and we actually cleanly get through Druids. Both of us have respected each other's space, and that is very good driving from Miller and myself. At the time, I didn't know if we were going to wreck out there as we head into the final corner. Are we going to stick it round the inside? But we don't. But Miller looks like he's taking it a bit wide, but it doesn't seem to matter, and that is Camillo now with 1/10 behind us. So that exchange between Miller and myself has cost us both a lot of time to the drivers behind, unfortunately. So looking into turn 1, are we going to try and stick it round the inside, and we just don't have enough speed? And look at that, we've gone off track again. So that is 7 off tracks now for us in this race, and we're looking to be on the path to a DQ if we keep making that same mistake. So now heading into Cascades, we have 4 cars all in close proximity. Miller, myself, Camillo, and Vinny Phipps, who we haven't seen in this race yet, but he is going to look like to play a vital piece of this puzzle nearing the end of this race. And look at the slipstream. We're trying to do what Miller did to us at the start of this race, but he shades to the inside. Good defending there from Miller, and he cuts off any chance of our potential overtake for ourselves there. Heading in to Hislops, let's see what happens. Are we going to have any chance here? And it doesn't look like it. This is a very difficult place to overtake if you don't go side by side, so we're going to have to settle in behind Miller again. But Camillo is hot on our tails, and he is not gonna let us have this P6 easily. So now heading into the second chicane of the lap, let's see if we can get a better exit than Miller here. And it looks like we've overcooked it again, and that is going to cost us a lot of speed. We're not nailing that corner, and Camillo has capitalized on that mistake, and he looks like he's gonna be overtaking us up the hill. Surely with the slipstream he is gonna be able to get the move done, but it doesn't look like it. And I don't know if that's because we're still holding on to the slipstream of of Miller, but he just doesn't have the pace to get around us. So fortunately into Druids, we're going to be ahead, and we take a rather defensive line into the corner, and that is going to secure P6 for us still. But it looks like Camillo is not done with us yet, and he is trying his best to find his way into the inside for the last lodge corner. Let's see what happens. Is he going to stick the move? It doesn't look like it as he pulls out, and it looks like P6 is going to be safely in our grasp. And we're actually going to fast forward here onto a later part of the lap, heading into Britain's. Miller ahead of us, but as you can see in the top left hand side of the screen, Rafael Cordero, the man who lost it into the left hand of Cascades earlier in the race, is back, and he is looking for vengeance. Look at the speed he is carrying. He's overtaking Camillo, and he's looking to the inside into Hislops. Oh my god, this has to be an incident, and we take it. We have to give him space, and look at that. Cordero is forced wide onto the grass. He was carrying too much speed trying to make that move stick, and he has unfortunately lost out on all the progress he made down the straight. Let's take a quick replay. I've never seen someone try a move into Hislops like this. Look at the bravery of Cordero. That is a very, very, very ambitious move, and it doesn't pay dividends, as unfortunately he's carrying too much speed and he takes it onto the grass. So all the progress he made through that corner is ultimately lost. But that move just shows you the skill and the racecraft of the drivers in this Grand Prix. If there is a gap and an opportunity, they will take it and seize it. So let's see, is this going to be a race now where we're not focused on catching Miller anymore, but rather defending from Cordero and Camillo behind? Because all while we were having that crazy action behind us, Miller has just continuously worked on building the gap to us. So I don't know if we're going to be able to catch him, if I'm being honest, with 2 minutes left in this Grand Prix, and we take it wide onto the grass, but both drivers behind us follow suit. That is a bit of a concertina effect there, and surely that is going to allow Miller to escape our clutches now, as the gap is now 1.1 seconds and growing. And it's mistakes like that that are going to just cost us the chance to earn a P5 in this Grand Prix. But it looks like Joshua Miller is not getting a great exit out of T1 and into Cascades, because the gap is now 9/10, so he's losing valuable time to us for some reason, and it looks like we might be able to catch up into the slipstream, although now looking at it, I think we are just slightly out of range to catch his draft. But look at the gap behind us is now 0.7, though we can temporarily take our eyes off of the rearview mirror in the attempt that we need to defend from the cars behind. But we are lucky to chase down Miller, but it looks like he's taken the corner a bit too close, and he's actually made contact with the grass. I think both of his inside tires were actually on the greenery, and that has caused his V to spin around. So that is so unfortunate for Joshua Miller there. He was a very, very good competitor throughout this race, and unfortunately that is going to end his race back into P10. But look at that, Cordero has somehow slipped Camillo, and now he is right on the back of our gearbox. So on this final lap, we are trying to survive and defend from the two cars behind us that have seemed to stick with us for the whole race. And now this is it. This is the crunch time. It's hammer time, as Bono would say to Lewis Hamilton over the radio. We just have to survive a few more corners going up into the uphill section. If we get a good Druids, we might be able to secure P5 from Cordero behind us. Is he going to try and move into Druids? We've seen his aggressive racecraft before, but it's not looking like he's close enough, and unfortunately we take a rather slow Druids there, and that's going to allow Cordero right alongside us. And look at this. This is going to be exhilarating into the final corner on the final lap of the Grand Prix. What is going to happen? Cordero has the inside line, so we break a bit earlier trying to get the switchback. Cordero goes wide, and look at that. We make the switchback stick, and it's going to be a straight out drag race onto the final home straight. Are we going to be able to secure P5? Cordero! It doesn't look like he's going to be able to outspeed us. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable scenes here at Oulton Park. Let's go back quickly onto this final sector of the race. Look at Cordero. He has the inside line, and you'd think he'd be able to make it stick through the final corner, but look at our racecraft. We break earlier, take the inside line for the switchback, and now is a straight up horsepower race up the hill. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. I will bet you cannot see a faster and closer race to the finish line. Look at this great camera angle. As you can see, our nose is about half a car length in front of Cordero to finish this Grand Prix. Oh my goodness. Please leave a like if you did enjoy that ending. Ladies and gentlemen, it was certainly an exhilarating race to experience now in post-commentary and obviously during the live race itself. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, comment, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I'm losing breath just trying to comprehend how exhilarating that finish was on the final lap. But yeah, I will see you in the next video. Hope you did enjoy. Peace.